face facts. What up, what up?
Real fans, realtalk.com. Where Arthurdamus, Trip Young, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real fans, realtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest, I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives, even tell a neighbor, tell them Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. Real fans, realtalk.com, I'm out one. Real fans, real talk, real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. I'm Mark the Statman Skevich. We got another great show lined up for you tonight. But first, let me introduce the cast of characters. Sitting to my right, the one and only Trip Young.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Oh man, it's such a pleasure to be back live every week. And yes, this is Real Fans, Real Talk. Do not adjust your dials. We are going live on channel 68 on Cablevision and 34 on Verizon. But of course, we going into our guest host month. And of course, sitting across from me, I gotta do this because sitting across from me is a good friend of mine. And this is Sean Fontaine, who is not to be confused with Ricky Fontaine, Pretty Ricky, what they called him Fontaine. That's his little brother, Pretty Ricky Fontaine. So this is Sean Fontaine, and he's joining us today on Real Fans, Real Talk. What's up, brother?
I'm good. You know what? Actually, my father's nickname is Chico. So it's Chico Fontaine, it's Sean Fontaine, and it's Ricky Fontaine.
Pretty Ricky, what they called him.
There you go.
All right, let's get into this sports day, Stat Man. What you got for us?
Before we start, I believe we have a little tribute.
That's right. We lost a good one today, and so I got a couple of things I want to say in reference to that. Steve Tebow, who is the head of NFL Films, he passed away early this morning, and he died of cancer. He had a brain tumor, and they diagnosed him about 18 months ago, so he lost his fight earlier this morning. What can I say about the man? He's probably the reason that football has grown to the heights that it is. One of the reasons, obviously, you got the players, but what he's done with NFL Films and all of that stuff. He's had a great career. He was inducted into the Football Hall of Fame last year. And in 2003, he received a Lifetime Achievement Emmy Award. So the man has been all over the NFL. He's well known. He's award winner, and he's just done some amazing things. So, Mr. Sable, this is our tribute to you from the Real Fans, Real Talk family, and we want to wish our condolences to his family and the friends and anyone else who've been touched by the life. Take us into the sports.
Yep, well, this weekend it's a couple of different stories with the Manning brothers. Eli Manning first had all the haters jump on him real quick after that first half, throwing 3 interceptions, but he ended up finishing the game with over 500 yards, 510 to be exact, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in the second half, and came back and got the W. So what happened by his big brother, he went and thought whatever you could do, I could do better. So maybe he said to Eli Manning, you know what, let me, I could throw 3 interceptions in the first half too and come back to win, but it didn't happen. Eli Manning came back against the Bucs, won 41-34, and on the other end, you had the Falcons beating the Broncos. Peyton Manning wasn't able to get the job done. He tried to one-up him and said, you know what, I'm going to throw 3 interceptions in the first quarter, not even the first half. He tried. He fell 7 points shy of the victory, so Peyton Manning, sorry, you couldn't get it done. Eli Manning did get it done. Sean, I'll get your thoughts first on the Manning brothers and this past week.
Well, you know what? I've learned a long time ago, more like last season, not to underestimate Eli. With me being, let me put this out there, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Cowgirls?
And I know you guys,
Cowgirls?
we're in Giants Nation. You guys really don't, care for the Cowboys. Same division and all that.
Cowgirls.
Don't care for them is an understatement.
Yeah.
But continue.
So like I said, I've learned to not underestimate Eli. Although he had a game like he did the first game, for him to come back the second game, it was expected.
Well, the first game the team lost, but he didn't necessarily have a bad game.
A lot of drop passes. Drop passes. Cruz showed up a lot this game. He caught a lot of passes, so that definitely helped out a lot. But I feel like it was just Eli being Eli. He did what he was supposed to do, and that's that. You don't expect anything less of him. Peyton.
Not so much.
Yeah, he fell short this week. Of course, I think next week he's definitely going to bounce back. So I expect
they'll be back home next week too, so that'll help.
There you go. I expect a lot from the brothers, this coming season, and sky's the limit.
Now I know because you did mention those Cowgirls, so they had a little reminiscent activity this past weekend as they got spanked again by the Seahawks, the team that they lost to in the playoffs all those years ago, where Mr. Romo, not Romo's ribs, Tony Romo, who he could not handle the snap, and it was just a sad day. So I want you, as the Cowgirl fan, could you just break down what happened in that loss for the people at home?
Well, they just didn't show up. I feel like they were still riding away from beating the Giants, because that was a big win itself. First game of the year, first week.
It was.
They played on a Wednesday night, and they pretty much thought they were going to, steamroll over the Seahawks, and that definitely didn't happen.
They shot their load in week 1 versus the Giants. That's
they're pretty much what happened. Season. All the
excitement
for all the Cowgirls
I won't say
fans
that.
Is all over.
I definitely won't say that because I know for the most part, as long as we finish games, we have a better chance of competing.
Yeah.
But as long as they.
Well, listen, I gotta say I have Miles Austin on my fantasy team in the Real Fans Real Talk Fantasy League, which is a good thing because he has been catching touchdowns. So at least they have that going for him. Just Tony Romo, listen, just keep passing it to Miles Austin for the rest of the season, and everything will be okay. You're probably not gonna make the playoffs. You're not gonna win a Super Bowl anytime soon. But if you can keep getting Miles Austin into the end zone, at least Trip Young will be a happy camper.
I feel like at least this year we're gonna get 2 wins in the playoffs.
2?
Yes, at least this year.
You know what? Hold on. This is.
He has to finish games. Romo finishes games.
Let's worry about them getting 2 wins in the season first.
So he's going to finish some games this year, and then we're going to keep it going.
This is. I've noticed this about the Eagles and the Cowboys fans is they don't even say, you know what, we're going to win the Super Bowl. They just like, if we can get a win or 2 in the playoffs,
you know what?
I'm content with that.
This is Romo still have to pop his cherry with that first win in the playoffs.
This is me coming from being a Cowboys fan from a child, with Aikman and all those guys back in the day, and he, they got their job done when they needed to, So it's like coming to Romo now where he doesn't finish the game and throws a pass or what have you.
They have a good receiving core too.
Yeah,
so
and Aikman was a winner. He was a finisher.
Yeah.
Aikman was one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Harper, Michael Irvin,
and then,
that didn't hurt.
And
the fact that Emmitt Smith taking a little bit of the pressure off with that running game, plus their offensive lineman Larry Allen, for example.
True. So they had a good roster, but you know what? The Cowboys now
and a good defense.
they have a good roster.
We have a better secondary now. We got rid of Newman. He snuck it up last year.
And Des Bryant, he's gonna be great if they can stop trying to charge him for everything known to man. And pay for 5 bouncers and security to drive him back and forth. He's gonna be a great receiver. But I definitely don't want to spend too much time on the Cowgirls because we got a long season to deal with those guys.
They've been having to deal with the Giants being number 1 in the division for a while.
Coming back winning.
Speaking of someone else, the Jets are used to also being number 2 in New York. So Cowgirls not looking up to the Giants in the division. Jets looking up to the Giants in New York. They did not have a great showing. Trip Young, we do this thing called staff picks for the week, and Trip Young picked the Jets to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I don't know what he was thinking. That was his upset of the week. Definitely did not happen. Steelers beat them 27-10. What's going on with the Jets, guys?
Well, first of all, I picked the Jets because One, my football crew, they actually went to the game, and I was just trying to give them some inspiration, some hope for going, since they were actually going to the game, they were going to be amongst the Steelers fans up there. So I tried to give them some hope with that pick. I know I jumped out the window completely. I jumped out the window completely with that pick, ladies and gentlemen. But sometimes you got to do it, man. You got to pick the shocker. We saw the Cardinals beat the Patriots, was I'm sure was a bigger surprise than if the Jets had beat the Steelers.
But you got to look at their defense as well. They have a real good defense this year, and the Jets haven't been real consistent either. And they have all this hope in Tebow, and then when Tebow gets in the game, everybody knows what he's going to do.
I don't think too many Jets fans had any hope in Tebow, to be honest with you. There's a lot of hype about Tebow because he's Tebow, and that's about it. It's not like they. I
think it's kind of, honestly, I think they kind of on the same page.
Let's say maybe the media then for that.
Yeah, well, the media definitely.
The media doesn't even say, most.
I think it's really just Skip Bayless, actually.
Yeah.
Well, most of the media doesn't think,
the almighty.
that Tebow's going to be a big factor, but he came in for the Wildcat, a total of, I believe, 6 plays, ran for 33 yards throughout the, between both of the games. I mean, maybe they have other tricks up their sleeves. I was saying if there'll probably be some HB options and he'll be out there the same time as Sanchez. Who knows what's going to happen?
But they know what's coming. When Tebow gets in the game,
maybe Rex Ryan thought,
he was going from that playoff win last year when he beat the Steelers in the playoffs last year. They figured they could get him to come in and do some damage.
Like they said.
But before we do move on to the next game, I want to jump back a little bit into that Monday Night Football game because we did have a little situation, and this is what I like. This is my time when I have to say, when you're in Catholic school and the teacher tell you put your hand out and they hit it with the ruler, this is what somebody need to do with Michael the Burner Turner, because your team won last night. Okay, you went out, you enjoyed yourself, you partied, and then you go and get yourself arrested for a DUI, excuse me. And I can't.
Those are going around in sports.
I know. I don't understand it. We said it a couple of months ago. We told, listen, you professional athletes, if you need a driver, you can pay the crew here. Real Fizz, Real Talk. We will come and drive you around after the club.
Drive your Ferrari, your Bentley,
whatever you want. You can still roll in
bucks,
style.
I'll drive you around.
And that's it.
Give me an interview afterwards.
There's no reason for you to be doing 97 miles an hour. On the road.
You know what's crazy? A lot of these players, it's like when they get in these situations where they have money,
they start thinking they're invincible.
They think they're invincible, and then like they didn't have money before, so they don't think.
Yep. Yeah. So they don't know. So now he had to pay a $2,179 bond to get out, and he's facing he has a speeding charge, and like I said, he has the DUI charge. Get your life together, brother. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
A couple of limos and had your whole entourage rolling with you.
Now he's going to have somebody driving around for a year.
Yeah, exactly. I know what it is. He's not producing as well as he was last year to start this season off. So maybe he went out, he had an extra drink. All right, but you got to get you a driver, brother. Come on, man. We keep telling you the same thing. There's nothing that you can do that's going to go unseen. You're a public figure, and they're looking for you to mess up. So think, man. Be smart about what you're doing, man. If you want to go out and party, that's fine. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. You won the game. You're a great player. But be smart, be responsible. And this is not even for NFL athletes or athletes in general. This is people, everyone. Do not drink and drive because we are losing too many people. Children, women, men, adults, everybody. We're losing people, and for what? Because you're so irresponsible that you can't just let somebody drive for you or take a cab or a limo, whatever the case may be. Come on, man. Let's smarten up, people. What we got next on the agenda?
Well, RG3 had a big upset last week, beating the New Orleans Saints, and then Cam Newton turned around and did it this week. But before we get into the story of the Saints, let's get into the Redskins because they got a couple of injuries that they have to worry about. And the Redskins faithful out there not looking too good. They got a lot of faith in RG3, but a couple of injuries out there. Orakpo and Carter are out for this season. So Orakpo is another name for sack. According to that commercial with the
Geico commercial with the caveman.
Yeah, exactly, with the playing Scrabble. So one of the better defenders out there, he's gone. Carter as well. So not looking too good for the Skins.
You know what happened? it was the caveman, because he was tired of Orakpo promising him he was going to get him on the field. He was at the bottom of the pyramid. So now he's upset. So he set him up. He set Orakpo up, and he's done for the season.
It sounds about right for the Redskins. They find some way to just
the best of the. Hey, but at least they're still in the top 5 on the Forbes list. So
this is true. This is true.
I guess they're winning. The
Giants
organization,
and the Cowboys.
Yeah,
so.
they're winning. NFC East, man, they know how to generate income. I'll definitely say that. Indeed. So they got that. But now those Saints, though, man, they are not looking good at all. I mean, it's bad. I don't understand what's going on with them. They're letting, these are the young boys that's beating up on them too. Drew Brees, I mean, he's looking okay, but he's not looking like somebody that just got $100 million. Well, unless he's looking like Albert Hainsworth, who got $100 million and then just fell off the face of the earth.
That guy.
But I don't see that. Drew Brees is not that caliber of player. So, but they got to get it together. I know they're having a lot of issues off the field still with the whole bounty scandal, which we actually have an update for you on that. Man, it's going to get real ugly real fast because
for a long time. And
they have some affidavits now.
And they had a meeting as well, right?
Greg Williams signed an affidavit stating that Jonathan Vilma was involved in the bounty scandal. He was one of the leaders of the pool, and he personally offered $10,000 to anyone that took Brett Favre out. So it's gonna get real ugly. He actually says that he has 9 affidavits saying otherwise. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of back and forth. And
why do you think Greg Williams did that though? Like, I mean, are they giving him some
why
type
does
of a
anybody
deal,
give
or?
up everybody else once they get
because he's going down himself.
Because he's going down. He's pretty much done for his career.
Is there any benefit for Greg Williams at that point?
I don't know. Maybe they offered him a deal. He can come back after 3 years.
Is he gonna get a job somewhere doing that or something?
I don't know. But I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm not cool with, like, at this point, like, if it's true, I mean, listen, I don't even feel like the players at this point should even be penalized. I think that should be on the coaches, because the coaches are the ones that are implementing this strategy with the players. So, I'm against the suspensions anyway of the players, but it's not in my hands. It's in Roger Goodell's hands, and I know he's looking to penalize them for this, especially after it was reversed through the courts.
Because victory was his.
Yeah, so he definitely wants that. So
that actually leads us to one of our fan mail questions, and before I get into it. Our email address is fanmail@realfansrealtalk.com. Our first fan mail question comes from Joey in Harlem, who says, if the NFL provides conclusive evidence Jonathan Vilma funded a bounty pool, should his suspension be reinstated? His suspension was gone. He was able to play. Now this new information comes out there. Trip Young, you already shared your thoughts. I'm with you 100% on that one. I don't believe that it's the player's fault. If the coaches go and say, this is what it is, there's a bounty out there, then that's it. It was the coach's idea. If Vilma got into the spirit and offered the $10,000 for Favre, I don't know what to say about that, to be honest with you, because I still think that he's a player. That's one of the things that the team had going. The coach is the one that implemented it. It was not Vilma's idea. So if it's something that went on in the locker room, it's the coach's fault, not the player's fault. So I'm gonna have to say no. So what do you think, Sean?
I think to some extent, I mean, this whole bounty thing, like even going back to college, when players do certain things, they get decals on their helmets or whatever. So if in fact that it is true, I think Roger Goodell is right, but like you said, it goes down to the coaches. They could at any point said, "Hey guys, you need to cut it out." So I'm definitely
coming down on us.
You guys.
Stop
Yeah.
it. Now, Fontaine, I know you played some college football.
Yeah.
On the defensive.
No, actually, I played running back.
Running back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you been in any of the defensive huddles? Have you? Is this something that? Because
college players don't usually get paid, so I'm not sure.
But as far as Like I know, you know.
Drinks on me.
Yeah,
Gatorade.
target it.
Yeah, like I said, to some extent, you know, it's a back and forth. You know, you get decals or whatever. But you know what? I had one instance where a guy like found me on like Facebook and like told me that he was gonna like take me out or something like that. I really didn't understand what he was gonna get out of that, but I mean.
But you know what? Now here's my issue. It's just this is what the defense is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's simple mathematics. Now, obviously, you don't do anything illegal, okay? And anything that's outside of the guidelines is off limits. But you are supposed to take your opponent out, hit them hard, and you're supposed to hit them to the point where they don't get up. And as long as it's within the confines of the rules and the regulations of the game, we should not have an issue with it. Because what is the best way to stop Peyton Manning from throwing a 90-yard touchdown?
Hit him.
You hit him and knock him out the game.
I think the major issue that they had was that it was money that was involved with it as well. You know, I think if it was just okay, if you hit him, I'll take you out to dinner, they wouldn't say anything major. Yeah. But you know, when you start like having tens of thousands of dollars,
there's a tax issue as well with that because that's not something that's part of it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get his.
At the same time, if you're hitting, getting back to Trip Young's point, if you're hitting illegally, then that's one thing. Because if you're hitting illegally and Vilma's paying you $10,000 for Favre, someone like Harrison, I think he got fined $75,000 for an illegal hit. So it's not worth it to hit him illegally. But if you're hitting him hard like you're supposed to do anyway, then that's a whole different story. So I'm with you on that one.
Well, nowadays anything is in the play illegal. Like you barely tap somebody and you get the flag. Like so,
it was Harrison that said to Goodell. During last season or the season before last, where he said maybe I should lay a pillow down and lay them down gently when I tackled them. So because it seems like that's what it is as far as football getting a little softer with the hits and very stringent on the penalties for hitting people, which you're supposed to do. But
I gotta before we do that, Vilma actually tweeted this that Greg Williams was bullied into signing that affidavit. So if you follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Talk, we will keep you abreast of all the Twitter comments. You know, we've been keeping y'all, showing y'all everything that's been going on through Twitter, from Vilma to Chad Johnson and that whole scandal. But definitely follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Talk. And if you go online to the website, realfansrealtalk.com, you can get all of our individual Twitters as well. So who we got next on the agenda? I think we're gonna jump into our staff picks.
Yeah, but just as far as paying people off and stuff, it's rumored that some of the quarterbacks in the league is giving Rolexes to their offensive line for protection. I mean, as if they're not getting paid enough. It's like, hey, don't hate me. I'll get you a Rolex. Just make sure you block for me. All right. So that's a little.
Well, everybody should be doing that,
right?
If they're not already, that's why you're getting sacked so much.
Now it's gonna be like, well, so Manning's team Manning's giving his O-line Rolexes. I want Rolexes too. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit.
That's why Michael Vick can't stay in the game. He ain't buying no Rolexes.
That's probably what it is.
Yep. Oh man, it's definitely crazy. But again, we will update you. I believe Anthony Hargrove had his meeting earlier today. And so we'll update you on that. Scott Fujita, who was supposed to meet today, is not going to be meeting today because obviously he's for the Browns right now, and he has a knee situation, so he's trying to work through that and get ready for this week's game. But we will continue to update you as the information comes in, whether or not Goodell decides to slap that suspension back on Vilma or what. We will let you guys know.
Yeah, make sure that you just keep following us on our website, realfansrealtalk.com. I mentioned the fan mail email address as well. That's fanmail@realfansrealtalk. But the realfansrealtalk.com website, under the contact section, you could have the fan mail address as well as our individual email addresses, our individual Twitter addresses. So realfansrealtalk.com has all the information. It'll keep you updated on everything that's going on there as well. And make sure you like us on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. Just like us on Facebook. You'll get updates as well on different sports news, sometimes some funny photos, updates on different showtimes and specials that we run. We air on the radio. Our radio show is moving to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday on the RealFansRealTalk.com website. You can listen to us live. Our other co-hosts as well, Face Facts, the artist formerly known as Intern Tom Delgado, and Arthurdamus as well. So it's a very interesting radio show as well. Every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. After the first two series of football games are done, you could hear where our recaps are about it. 7:30 Sundays, RealFansRealTalk.com. But getting into some of our staff picks for this upcoming week, Tripion, you want to start us off with your pick?
Well, we got the first game. First of all, the Giants are going on the road to face the Panthers. I'm picking the Giants. Eli's hot right now, and the team is clicking. Victor Cruz, I finally got to see my salsa this season, and Hakeem Nicks, they both been beasting. I think they're heating up, so I'm gonna go with the Giants on that one. What y'all got?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Giants as well. I mean, I think that's a little obvious that's my pick. What do you think, Sean?
I think it's definitely safe not to bet against Eli, like I said before. And they are playing the Panthers, although they do have a good squad. But
Panthers just beat the Saints, but you know,
well,
that's the Saints.
Unless they have a
Bluetooth
Bluetooth with Sean Payton in his headset, it's not going to happen. So I'm going with the Giants.
Okay. Our next pick would be your team, Sean, the Cowboys at home against the Bucks, trying to bounce back. I think the Cowboys are going to bounce back. I'm guessing a little biased opinion from you, Sean, but the Giants one was a biased opinion on my end.
Well, of course,
so.
you guys beat the Bucks last week, and we beat you guys. So
usually doesn't mean anything. It usually doesn't work that way.
You're right. Well, because we lost last week, I think we definitely going to have to try to bounce back this game, and Cowboys going to pull through and win it.
Yeah, I got the Cowgirls winning at home as well. And again, Tony, if you're listening, Miles Austin all day. Real Fans, Real Talk Fantasy League.
What are you about to fantasy, man?
Sean, you want to take us to the next game?
So next we have the Jaguars and the Colts. The Jaguars are 0-2, and the Colts are 1-1. I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, I was saying about Andrew Luck. The first week he had to deal against the Bears, which is a tough defense. The Vikings defense, not so much, so that's why he got the victory in the second week. Jaguars, once again, I think he's going to have a good game against the Jaguars as well. So I'm picking Luck and the Colts to get 2 wins in a row.
I'm going against both of y'all. I'm taking the Jaguars. Man. Reese Jones-Drew is ready. He's coming back.
He can't do it by himself.
Exactly.
Listen.
He's giving out Rolexes.
He could have been better. He could be better.
He gave out Rolexes.
He's giving out Rolexes.
Yeah, I called him. I said, listen, you better give out them Rolexes. So he did that, and he's gonna have a crazy game this week. So I'm going with the Jaguars.
All right. Our next game is the Bills against the Browns. The Double B Bumble.
Exactly.
Both teams not looking too good so far this season. Buffalo actually did have the victory against Kansas City. I'm not too convinced on Buffalo doing well, but I do have them over the Browns though, so I'm gonna pick Buffalo on that one.
Yeah, I got them over the Browns too, and that's largely because of my fantasy pickup, CJ Spiller, who's been dominating this season, and I'm glad because he owes me because I picked him his rookie year and he did nothing for me. So this season he's actually been killing for me on the field. So I'm going with the Bills. CJ Spiller is going to carry the team.
Well, after they stunk it up the first week, and they won last week. Browns 0-2. They haven't proved anything to me either, so I'm definitely going with the Bills.
That's going to be a good running back matchup, though. Trent
Spiller?
Richardson versus C.J. Spiller. So I can't wait to see that one. And then we got the Jets at the Dolphins. I'm going with the Jets, even though they're on the road.
2 weeks in a row, Trippier.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jets, man.
I'm picking the Jets too, though. I'm not too convinced with the Dolphins on anything right now. I think the Jets. They played the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the top teams in the AFC. They played them in Pittsburgh. Even with the injuries that Pittsburgh had, the defense is still a great defense. So I'm thinking the Jets could do it against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is I think Reggie Bush is back. Did you see how my man played last week?
He did. No, he did. And I'm a Reggie Bush fan. I just think that he's just never been healthy long enough to really show what he can do. If he stays healthy, he can be.
And a lot of times
there was a big upset against Oakland too, or 35-13 against Oakland. Yeah. So I mean,
he did go.
I'm not really too convinced with them yet, though. I mean, but
yeah, I mean, and a lot of teams they expected him to be, that third down back, that guy out of the backfield or whatever, and he did a lot of, we had a lot of good runs last week. So I'm definitely going with the Dolphins for sure.
All right. So we're going to take a break from the picks right now. We're going to get back to the rest of our picks later on in the show. We do have an injury in baseball. Clayton Kershaw is done for the season. And how do you think that affects the Dodgers' hopes for the playoffs, Trippier?
I mean, I said this on the radio last Sunday on RealFansRealTalk.com. It's not looking good for them. I don't see them, getting that second wild card spot. I know they made the big trade, and I think what happened was after they made that trade and Adrian Gonzalez came out, had a good game, everybody became prisoners of the moment, and now everyone is back down to reality. And this is a huge loss, Clayton Kershaw, because he is one of the best young pitchers in the league. He's very dominant, and now they've already lost their number 2 pitcher, Brad Billingsley. So now they're down there, number 1 and number 2 pitcher, and their hopes rely in the hands of Josh Beckett, who's been struggling this entire season. So I don't see them making that spot. I think it's pretty much over for them. I think it's gonna come down to the Braves. And the Cardinals are going to take those last 2 spots, the wild card spots. So,
well, I was saying it for a while. I had the Braves and the Dodgers, and this past Sunday on the Real Fans Real Talk radio show, the Dodgers have a lot of talent. Other than that, I'm still sticking with the Dodgers making it. I don't think they're going to get. The wild card is a 1-game thing this year with the 2 wild card teams. Even though they added a wild card, it's a 1-game thing. So I don't think that they're going to get past that 1-game wild card round against Atlanta, but I think that they'll get. They're only 1 game behind right now, St. Louis, for that second wild card spot. I think they're going to do it though. So,
well, me personally, I'm not quite sure. With Kemp going down, for starters, and then the way they say with pitchers, you have one injury, you try to make up for it with the rest of your throwing. I'm not too sure about that. So, I don't know. Right now, it's kind of up in the air for me with the Dodgers, and I'm still actually making it. If they do, it's going to come down to the last minute, and it might be a good thing because he might allow other people to rest, but I'm not sure.
All right. Well, switching sports for a little bit, we talked about this on the radio show as well on RealFansRealTalk.com, which is Sundays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The NHL lockout. I'm a hockey fan. I'm a Rangers fan. It doesn't look like they're able to come to a resolution right now. Last year we had the NBA season starting late. The NHL, nobody knows what's going on now. It's a sad thing for sports when you're a fan of a sport and you don't get to see that season. Once you miss a season, I mentioned this on the radio show as well. Baseball took a lot of time to recover after their strike. If the lockout happened in basketball last year, it would have been, LeBron James wouldn't have had a ring, so maybe it would have been a good thing for me. But it's not a good thing for the sport to not have a season. Even the fact that they had the condensed season, that with basketball, they had a lot more injuries because the games were back-to-back and sometimes 3 travel games in a row, as far as in 3 days, which never happened before, but that's the case last season. So there was a lot of things to deal with, which caused the injuries, and people have a lot of different things negative about that condensed season. And now we might not have a season at all with hockey. And the Rangers made a trade with Columbus for Nash, who was the best player, in my opinion, from Columbus. So I think that it'll be a shame if the Rangers finished first in the East last year. I was looking forward to this season that we were gonna get that cup back to New York, and now we might not have a season. So it's definitely a shame.
Alex Ovechkin, he's saying that the lockout is gonna go for the season. He says that if NHL continues on with their demands, it's definitely going throughout the season because the players aren't budging, and they have already started signing with other leagues, the KHL in particular, which is the Continental Hockey League. Actually last season's MVP is one he's already signed with the KHL, and Evgeny Makai, if I'm pronouncing his name right, but the players are starting to jump ship now because it's looking like they're not going to come to an agreement anytime soon. The lockout actually started 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, and until they get this thing hashed out. For you hockey fans, I get into hockey. I watch the Rangers, but I'm not a diehard hockey fan. But I know a lot of my friends are. So you guys could be looking at. Well, you better look at some baseball or football or something. There won't be no hockey for you to look at.
The basketball players were doing the same thing during the lockout for basketball last year, as far as signing in other countries. Darren Williams, I believe, signed with Turkey, and so it's. I mean, that's what they're going to do. They're going to get paid overseas. I mean, they're big names, so they're definitely going to get paid regardless. So the NHL definitely needs to. But
what I'm not what I'm not understanding is $3.3 billion, right? And the revenues continue to grow, and they're getting paid 57% of this, and they still can't.
And Sidney Crosby was a big name in the NHL. He had constant concussions. That's bad because when he was kind of been the face for the NHL the past few seasons, and the NHL is gaining in popularity, and then you're going to throw this in there. The owners just really need to get this settled so that way it's not a bad thing for hockey.
This is the fourth work stoppage in the past 20 years. In
second in
NHL.
the last 8 years.
So it's not looking good. They got to get it together because once again, like we said, same thing with basketball, with football, who suffers the most is the fans who really enjoy going out and seeing their favorite players or watching their favorite players on TV. So it kind of sucks. But get it together. I mean, I understand because, we go back and forth sometimes, they not trying to give us the raises that we need on the show here.
I understand that, and I understand there's injuries, but you guys are millionaires. How much more can you possibly get?
Well, you got to think, the owners are billionaires.
You're right. So they're making money off of them. This is true.
And they're the ones that carry the leagues. Right. But we're gonna jump back into our next set of staff picks.
We're actually the staff picks. We'll have the rest of the staff picks online on realfansrealtalk.com. So if you want to see the rest of the picks that we had, we'll check out realfansrealtalk.com. We'll have that for you tomorrow. But we do want to get into Jeter getting into the top 10. I predicted it on week one, the first ever TV edition of Real Fans Real Talk. I predicted on an episode of Shot for Shot that he would get past in the top 10 spot. He just passed Willie Mays this past week. Willie Mays with 32.83. Derek Jeter now, as it stands, with 32.87. He's in the top 10. He's obviously a future Hall of Famer, and
I believe actually I answered the question on Shot for Shot, and you gave me the point.
That is correct.
And Arthurdamus had some issues with that, but I wanted to kind of bring that tape back so that we could show Arthurdamus
Arthurdamus. We're going into the archives.
I got a shot at Arthurdamus. He is on the hatecation right now, and basically on the hatecation, what they do is they go around with other haters.
You know what happened?
And they practice the hate.
You know what happened? He was feeling salty about the shot for shot judging and everything. We got a little evidence here that it's not fanism of Yankee fanism. It was the correct answer. But aside from that, you know what happened? Remember, he was going to the player haters ball, and they played him. It wasn't on there. But Willie Mays, as far as getting Willie Mays commented on Derek Jeter's passing him in the top 10, and he said, when you have a record or whatever it may be, there's always someone that's going to pass you, and you can't find a better kid like that to pass you and enjoy what he's doing. I like Jeter because of this. He plays for the Yankees. He plays for the joy of the game. He plays for the team. No question as far as the heart of Derek Jeter. A lot of times we see him diving into the stands to catch balls and everything. Yeah. I mean, that was very famous.
Five-time champion.
Yeah, definitely.
So
and he's a real stand-up guy. You don't have to worry about him getting in trouble like you.
Exactly. No
DUIs. What I was trying to say before we had the clip, Arthurdamus went to the player haters ball, and there was no player haters ball. They just hated on him. So he was a little salty about that. He was a shoo-in. They're like, no, that's in 2013. We announced in 2012. So you're still gonna win it, Arthurdamus. We miss you. We love you. You're still going to win Hater of the Year just a little later on. Sorry that they played that joke on you, though. But getting to that archive to prove that there's no fanism here, and we judged it equally. Episode 1 of Real Fans, Real Talk, shot for shot with Arthurdamus. Can you guys roll that footage?
Will Derek Jeter reach the top 10 on the all-time hits list this season? Trip Young, I believe.
I think he is right now a little bit over 100 hits out.
96.
96 hits out. So this is a really tough question because I feel like he can do it, and I know thus far in the season he's at 98 hits.
99.
99 hits. You know what? I'm gonna say he can do it because I really feel like the Yankees are gonna stay hot coming out of the All-Star break. CeCe will be back. Pettit should be back after a little bit of rest. So I got to say, Derek Jeter's having a great season this year, and I feel like he's going to stay consistent.
Well, I'm glad I'm about to strongly disagree with you, young man. I have to say, I'm going to say no. I don't think he's going to get it. It's too close of a gap for him to be able to get that 97 hits. I mean, he's not going to stay hot forever, man. I mean, I think there's going to be a little
he's had his little slumps, though, too, during this first half of the season.
Yeah, but I really think he's not going to be able to get that 96 hits?
96.
I don't think he'll get 96. He'll probably get 70 or something like that, but not 96.
All right, so just saying for mathematical purposes, he's at 99 now. It's about the halfway point, so you're saying he's not going to get 96. And I got to remind you that I got a Yankee logo and I'm the referee, so it's kind of not a smart thing to go and say that Derek Jeter isn't going to do it. The winner of the first ever
He just wants me to wear Eli Manning jersey. That's all he wants me to do.
Yes. Well, it's not I do legitimately agree. He did end up wearing that Eli Manning jersey on the second episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. And that was definitely a priceless moment of Real Fans, Real Talk history. We do love you, Arthurdamus, but I even said it had nothing to do with fanism. It was mathematically. It wasn't even halfway in the season. He had 99. He needed 96 more. Second half, he did it. Season's not even over, and he did it. So
once again, Trip Young. I should start calling myself Tripadamus or something like that because Trip Young called it first right here live, mind you. I just wasn't taped. It was live
and
on the air. And Statadamus.
Mark Statadamus.
And but we're gonna jump into some shot for shot this week, and now I'm reffing. I got the ref jersey on this week. So, Mr. Fontaine. If you lose this week, I'm calling up pretty Ricky Fontaine, and he gonna have to come in here and defend your honor next week.
All right.
But Statman, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's jump into the shot for shot. Question number 1: should Rex have subbed Tim Tebow in when Sanchez begins struggling against the Steelers?
Well, we usually start with the challenger, and since he's the newcomer, I would say he should start it off.
Mr. Fontaine?
Well, because I'm not a part of the Tebow madness and he hasn't proven anything to me yet, I would definitely say no. You know, you're gonna go with your starter. It's only the second game of the year, and we want him to try to work through it before you actually try to take him out of there and mess up his flow once he comes back in the game. So I'm gonna definitely say no.
Yeah, like you were saying, number one, he hasn't proved anything yet. Yes, he had a lot of good things happening last season. I think just the fact that they got Tebow made Sanchez feel uncomfortable, and then he has a bad game against the Steelers, which is one of the best defenses in the league, and then you go and put Tebow in there, which will cause a whole media frenzy if he did that. Definitely not.
And it's only the second game of the year. Now, if it's
exactly.
if
it was game 6, yeah.
All right. Well, since I got my ref jersey on, this next question is about the refs. I'm not a replacement shot-for-shot ref. I'm the official shot-for-shot ref. I got the negotiations worked out with For the Fans Productions. They paid me the money I wanted. So here I am, judging shot-for-shot. Now, as far as NFL refs, thus far, I want you guys to rate their performance. Good, average, or bad? Statman?
Well, can we do it a 1 to 10, I guess?
It's good, average, or bad. That's it. Just one of the three.
I got to say bad. I mean, it's not, I mean, if average would be a 5, I'd have to give him a 4 if we were rating it 1 to 10. A lot of mistakes, a lot of no calls, a lot of bad calls. I mean, there's certain things that referees do that you can't even replay. Like not calling a pass interference is not something that they could put on the replay. So the replay can't save their bad decisions all the time. And a lot of those things, like game 1 against the Cowgirls with Eli Manning, there was a pass into the end zone which was clearly a pass interference, and that wasn't called. And in game 2, the second interception that was ran back for a touchdown, there was a clear holding on Cruz, and Cruz could have possibly gotten there in time. And instead of being a touchdown the other way, it should have been a first down for the Giants. So thankfully, the Giants have elite Eli, and he was able to come back and get the victory the second time, but the first time not so much. So I'm going to say poor.
I would have to say average. I feel like I agree with you with there being a lot of makeup calls, you know, and stuff like that. But for the most part, you got to play through it. I mean, they're new refs. It's a given. You know, they're not going to be the best, but I don't think they're doing that bad. So I'm going with average.
I'm gonna give the point to Fontaine on that one. You know, yes, there's been a lot of missed calls and bad calls, but you got to think there's 30 games in the 2 weeks that have been played. And you know, I don't think
I think each game had at least
been that
at
bad.
least 2.
But there's
bad calls,
during with the real refs, we go by and say there's bad calls. So I don't think it's been that bad. You know what I mean? Like I can't say that a call has definitely. Well, this team, one team was supposed to win and they lost because of one call.
Well, they added turnovers to being guaranteed reviewable nowadays.
Yeah.
So fumbles, that was something that wasn't in there last year, and they probably did it this year because of the replacement refs. So the refs got a lot of help with replays as far as not ruining the game completely. But as far as what they're required to do with all the help of replays being there, I think they're doing a bad job. But
all right, well, we're gonna move on to number 3. Which scrambling quarterback will finish the season with the most rushing touchdowns? Michael Vick, Cam Newton, or RG3? Fontaine, it's on you.
I'm going with Cam. Cam definitely proved it last year. Vick is going to get hurt again. Vick is my man. I'm a big fan, even back when he played with Atlanta. But Vick is going to get hurt again. I'm sorry. And RG3, I'm not quite sure just yet because he is a Redskin. And they do have a tendency of not blocking. So I'm definitely going with Cam.
yeah, I was mad as soon as you said Cam because I was like, man, I was hoping to get I was hoping you were on the RG3 bandwagon or something like that. But yeah, definitely Cam Newton. He got a lot of them last year. He's more experienced and definitely more of a rushing threat over there, like you said, with the offensive line and everything.
Yeah, my man RG3, I feel like he's still trying to feel his way out, you know, with this season as well. You know, it's the second game of the year, but I think Cam just went in last year and just there was no holds bar.
I agree with both you guys. And like you said about Michael Vick, first of all, I got to announce this. They just lost their center, Jason Kiki, and he's out for the season with a knee injury, which definitely does not sit well for
Does he have
Michael
to give his
Vick.
Rolex back now?
Oh, yeah, he definitely has to give the Rolex back now. That's it. You only get it if you're on the field. So the backup center will actually get the Rolex now.
You know, this reminds me when I was in college, one of my quarterbacks, they would throw him in a game and they were notorious now for not blocking, and I would yell out to him, "Vick it!" because he knew he was going to be running. So that's all Vick is going to be doing. He's going to be running.
My coach said if any of the offensive linemen miss a block, they call it a lookout block. So it's kind of similar.
Sheesh.
Look out!
He's covered. All right. Well, let's move on to the next question. We got is Sean Payton's absence the biggest reason the Saints have started off the season 0-2? Statman?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but I'm going to say no. Their defensive coordinator's out permanently, Greg Williams, so that's one. Then you have the fact that the players weren't able to be there in training camp in the preseason. So I think that those two factors have more to do with it than Sean Payton. So
I'll have to agree with you because I think a lot of going into the season, they really didn't know who was going to be coaching them. You know, there was a lot of scandal going on, so they didn't know what's what. They didn't really have time to message the team and keep the ball going. So I'm gonna definitely say I don't think Sean Payton has a real major effect on these guys losing. It's only the second game of the year,
All right, well,
14 more games.
With that being said, Fontaine with the 1-0 victory over the Statman on his first day. Guest hosting on Real Fans, Real Talking. And again, this is live, ladies and gentlemen. So we didn't tape this earlier and just throw him the answers. Everything is coming at you live right now. So Fontaine, congratulations on your first
Well,
shot
there's
for
still
shot.
one more question. What are you doing?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to give you that one. Oh, my bad.
See what it is? Hold on. First of
Hold on. It's live.
First of all,
Live.
the question that he gave him the point on was about refs. And he's wearing the referee jersey, and I said they're doing a poor job, and he took offense to it.
Man.
Yeah, but I'm not a replacement ref. Remember, I'm an official ref. All right, you know what? We're going to jump in number
He
5.
got his Rolex before he came in.
Exactly. You should have got me the Rolex, man. You got me the one that ticks. That's why. He got me the one that doesn't. That's why. The real one. All right. After being upset by number 21 Stanford, can USC still make the BCS championship game?
Can USC still make this? No.
Flat out, no. All right. Statman?
He wins. I agree.
No.
The BC, it doesn't. You lose one game, and that almost pretty much takes you out of the running.
Everyone underneath them would have to lose a game for them to get back.
And at this point in the season, the games only get harder.
Yeah.
So you're not playing Bethune-Cookman and Georgia Southern anymore.
They could go.
Exactly.
They can go undefeated for the rest of the year, and they'll still probably not.
Exactly, because what are they? What are they ranked now? Like what? 12th, 13th in the BCS?
Yeah.
And they lost, and they had one loss or whatever. So
it's gonna be hard for them to drop back down to that top 5 even. So, but with that being said, Mr. Fontaine, you got your first victory, and we're gonna jump into this day in sports history. And I guess I'll start it off. In 1848, baseball rules that first baseman can tag the base for an out instead of the runner.
So that means to Shara that there's no need to slide anymore.
You heard?
Teixeira slid last week in the game, but he had other reasons. He felt the calf injury going, and it was a bad call because he should have been safe anyway, but that's old news. The next one, in 1938, the Chicago Bears beat the Green Bay Packers 2-0, which is awkward, very awkward score.
That's a safety to nothing?
Safety to nothing.
and how long was that game? Like, because they played forever back then.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have commercial breaks and all
Hey.
that stuff, so I'm sure it was a lot shorter than it is now.
And then
actually.
they weren't worrying about bounties back then either, because those guys were rough.
I'll take a 2-0 victory over the 82-63 victory that happened in Oregon over the weekend. Shout out to Tyron Thomas, who ran for 644 yards and 10 touchdowns, setting a state record. So, but I'll take that 2-0 victory over 83-62.
2-0. Sheesh. And Joe Louis KO'd, was it Tammy, how do you say this name?
Muriello.
in the first round of a heavyweight boxing title.
And we actually...
That's when they was fighting for like 375 rounds back then.
And what did Bone Crusher tell us? They fight two fights in a week or something
exactly.
like that.
It's talking about the way boxing was back then. I mean, Bone Crusher was in the 80s, and he was talking about how he had a lot of fights. Now it's like Pacquiao, what is he going to have? And the December 8th fight is coming up with the rematch against Marquez. And that one is, probably what is his second fight. So, but we do have some footage of that knockout, though. Back when boxing was boxing, and can you guys roll that footage of Joe's knockout?
If we can get it, all right. I guess we're gonna wait until next week.
We actually are running out of time, so we're gonna have to show that at another point in time. So
we got. Let's get this fan mail question out the way before we move any further. Lewis from Queens writes: do you guys think Coach Coughlin is just whining, or does he have a valid point in regards to the Bucs' aggressive play at the end of the game? You know what? I guess the play is legal, but at the same time, I do think it's distasteful because they're nailing the ball. Now you do that and somebody gets injured, then it's all right. You know what I mean? Then what? Now it's like, all right, now we just lost Eli for the season because you know you like really with 4 seconds left. What we are y'all really doing?
The thing is,
to hit somebody.
Well, he's definitely right, but at the same time, Eli Manning isn't Michael Vick. He's not Mr. Glass, and he doesn't get injured every season, so he can handle it. But Coughlin is definitely right with that one. So, with that being said, once again, our fan mail addresses are fanmail@realfansrealtalk.com. The website, obviously, realfansrealtalk.com. Under the contact section, you could get all our individual Twitter addresses, our email addresses, all our contact information is on the realfansrealtalk.com website. All of our old episodes, if you want to dig into the archives, is under RFRT Media on that site, and then RFRT TV. We are live every Tuesday in BronxNet, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7:30 p.m. on Sundays is our radio show, which airs on realfansrealtalk.com. So
we do before we just get to the final thought. I do want to say this: Aaron Hernandez, tight end for the New England Patriots, he's going to be out a couple of weeks. The Patriots have signed Kellen Winslow to a 1-year deal, so he's going to be replacing him. Hopefully that won't take away from Wes Welker, who's also on my fantasy team. But go ahead, Stat Man. You back?
All right. So final thoughts. We'll actually start with the winner of Shot for Shot this week. What's your final thoughts, Sean?
My final thoughts. I don't know. I don't really have a final thought, guys.
All right. Well,
you guys take that one.
Let me just say that because we know we're running short on time, but I'm gonna give a universal final thought, and that's gonna be our happy birthday shout out to our programming director Alan Carlton. He holds us down every week live, running the boards upstairs. So happy birthday to you, and we will see you guys next week, same time, live right here on BronxNet.
You can't spell elite without Eli. Realfansrealtalk.com. We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
That's right. See you in Toonland.
See you live again next week, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Face facts, what up, what up?
Realfansrealtalk.com, where Arthurdamus, Trip Young, and intern Tom for the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Realfansrealtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell them Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. Realfansrealtalk.com. I'm out one. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Realfansrealtalk.com. Realfansrealtalk.com. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Realfansrealtalk.com. Realfansrealtalk.com.